So today we're going to take a look at what is known as impératif. So it's this word up here. It's called impératif, and this is a tense, or rather a mode in French, that is used quite often. So right here, impératif. Make sure you don't confuse this tense with imparfait, which is a different tense. People often confuse these two tenses because the names are relatively similar, but we're not talking about imparfait today. We are talking about impératif. So what is the impératif mode? So the impératif mode is talking about, it's giving an order. So it's like when parents tell their children, go to your room or do your homework. This is what we're doing. We are giving a command or giving an order. So that's the goal of using impératif. And so how exactly do we use this? Let's talk about how to conjugate this. So impératif is very, very easy if you know present tense, which we learned in a previous video. It's just present tense. It's just a verb conjugated in present tense with one little exception, or one little additional step. The additional step is, if you think about it, when we're trying to give an order to either someone else or a group of other people, we can't give an order to ourselves. We just can't do it. Like if we tell ourselves, go do your homework, then it's like we're talking to another person. So we're actually saying you go do the homework to ourselves. So we cannot use impératif, we cannot give an order to ourselves. Likewise, we cannot give an order to someone who is not here, or so to someone who we're not talking to. So we can't give an order to he or she. We can't say he go do this thing, and then we can't give an order to one. So we can't do that. And the last thing that we cannot do is we cannot give an order to many people who are not here. So il, elle, pluriel. This is they. We can't give an order to they. If we're giving an order or giving a command to a group of people, we would either be addressing them, so we would be talking to them, or we might be included in it. Which means the impératif tense only has 3 possible conjugations for that specific tense, which are tu, you, talking to one person, nous, we, so a group of people including me, and then vous, which is a group of people, or sometimes we can be respectful. Now, just one little thing you might go, but how can we give an order to someone and be respectful at the same time? Think of it as saying please in English. Please sit down. Kind of like that. So, again, as I mentioned, it's really, really simple. The only thing you have to do is you have to conjugate it in present tense, and that's it. That's the conjugation. So let's take, for example, our ER verb parler, to talk or to speak. Tu parles, right? It's an ER verb conjugated normally. The ending is ES, right? Take off ER at the ES. Nous, take off ER, add ONS. And vous, take off ER, add EZ. Now there's one last step we need to do, and it's to remove the subject. So instead of saying we do this or you go do this, even in English we would say go do this. So we just have our verb. So if we wanted to give an order to someone and we wanted to talk, or tell someone to talk, then we would say parle, parlons, parler. And there's one little thing that we need to do in addition to that, and it's if we are dealing with an ER verb, unless the next word starts with a vowel, we take off the S. We do not add the S. And that's it. this rule of taking off the S does not apply for IR and RE verb, only for ER verbs. So let's take finir as an example of an IR verb if we wanted to use the impératif tense, right? So again, it's conjugated just like your present tense. So tu finis. Remember, for IR verbs, take off the IR, add your endings. For tu, that is an IS. Nous, it is ISSONS. And for vous, it is ISSEZ. Again, we cannot give an order to ourselves. We cannot give an order to someone we are not addressing. And we cannot give an order to people to whom we are not addressing. And our next step is to take off our subject. We do not say you finish, we say finish. Notice how the S over here stays. So this S over here, it stays, and we do not remove this S over here. That rule only applies to ER verbs, and it's only if the next word does not start with a vowel. So then if we wanted to tell someone to finish, then we would tell them fini. Or if we wanted to say, let's finish this, for example, then we would say finissons. And then if we're trying to tell a group of people to finish something, we would tell them finissez. If we wanted to try this with an RE verb, if we wanted to try this with an RE verb, for example, let's take the verb vendre, to sell. So again, we cannot give an order, impératif, to ourselves. We cannot do it to a person who's not here or to whom we're not addressing, and we cannot do it to people to whom we're not addressing. Conjugate it normally. Tu, RE verbs take off RE. For tu, add an S. For nous, add ONS. And for vous, add EZ. Next step, take off your subjects. We're not saying you sell, we're saying sell. So again, the S stays for tu. And if we wanted to tell someone sell, then we would say vend. If we wanted to say let's do this thing, so let's sell, vendons. And then if we wanted to tell a group of people to sell, or if we're trying to be respectful, as in saying please do this, then we would say vendez. All right, this is for regular verbs. If we take a look at irregular verbs, they're slightly different. Remember, irregular verbs are verbs that don't really follow the patterns of usual verbs. So here are 4 very, very common irregular verbs and their impératif tenses. So again, let's just write down really quick our subjects. So remember, we can only use impératif in 3 different subjects to 3 different people: tu, nous, and vous. Right? Those are the only possible options. So if you remember, le verbe être, to be, conjugated to tu, nous, vous, they should be in present tense. So I'll write present tense over here. Tu es, nous sommes, and vous êtes, with a little hat accent on the E. So this is present tense. And usually, regular verbs conjugated in impératif, they would be the exact same as the present tense. But for these verbs, they are not. So here's one for être. Tu, for tu, it's sois. Completely different. Nous soyons, and vous soyez. So it's completely different from the present tense version, but you do see that there is a pattern. So we're still following the EZ, ONS, EZ pattern for nous and vous. right? So there's still some kind of pattern going on over here. Let's try it for avoir. This is our other very important verb, to have. So tu, nous, and vous. Again, I'll write you the present tense, and then we'll take a look at the impératif. So the present tense, tu as, nous avons. Remember, we're doing the link over here with a Z sound. Vous avez. That's an E. And the impératif, again, is a bit different. So it's et, ayons, ayez. Right, so again, this one is slightly less different. After all, they start with the same letter, but they're still pretty different. Right, so et, ayons, ayez. Let's take a look at savoir. Savoir is another one of those important verbs to know. Not as common as être and avoir, but still pretty common. It means to know. So let's take a look at the present tense first. Tu sais, nous savons, vous savez. So this is the present tense. Let's take a look at impératif. So for tu is sache, sachons, and sachez. So notice again, there's still a pattern. It's just not the same as the present tense version, which is what usual regular verbs do. Our last one is vouloir. This one is very common, or at least this verb is very common, to want. So again, I'll show you the present tense version. Tu veux, nous voulons, and vous voulez. That's an E. Our impératif version is veuille, veuillons, and veuillez. There you go. So these are 4 common irregular verbs in impératif, and you'll often find that if the verb is irregular in present tense, especially these common ones that you see over here, chances are they're more likely to be irregular in other tenses, including impératif. So again, if a verb is irregular in present tense, it's more likely to also be irregular in other tenses, including impératif. All right, so that's impératif, where we are giving an order or we're telling someone what to do. And again, it doesn't have to be in a mean way. It can be like, please sit down, in that sense. So it doesn't have to be mean. It's just we're giving a suggestion or giving an order. Do this, or please do this. Okay, and that's impératif.